What is a food chain for GED Science? Imagine walking through a forest and seeing a butterfly land on a flower, then a bird catch that butterfly, and a fox hunting the bird. This chain of events shows how energy moves in nature. A food chain is a simple way to show how living things get their food and energy from each other. It is like a straight line that connects plants, animals, and predators in a specific order. The starting point of a food chain is always the producers. These are plants or tiny organisms that make their own food using sunlight through a process called photosynthesis. Think of grass, trees, or algae. They take in sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide to create food that they store for themselves. This is the base of the food chain because all other animals depend on these plants for energy. Next are the primary consumers. These are animals that eat plants. Examples include rabbits, cows, and insects like grasshoppers. When they eat plants, they absorb the stored energy from the plant's food. This step is important because it transfers energy from the plants to the animals that eat them. After that comes secondary consumers. These are animals that eat primary consumers. Think of a bird catching a grasshopper or a fox eating a rabbit. They get their energy by eating herbivores. These animals are often carnivores or omnivores, meaning they eat meat or both plants and animals. At the top of the food chain are tertiary consumers, also called apex predators. These animals hunt other predators and have no natural enemies. Examples include lions, sharks, and hawks. They get their energy from eating secondary consumers. Each step in the chain is called a trophic level, which just means a level of feeding. Energy flows in one direction through the food chain. The arrows in diagrams point from what is eaten to what eats it. For example, an arrow from grass to a grasshopper shows the grasshopper eats the grass. This flow of energy is one way only. It is important because it explains how energy is transferred in ecosystems. There is also a rule called the 10% rule. It says only about 10% of the energy from one level is passed to the next. The rest is lost as heat or used by the animals for their life processes. That's why food chains usually only have about 4 or 5 levels. As you go higher, less energy remains, so there are fewer animals at the top. While a food chain shows a single path, real ecosystems are more complicated. Most animals eat more than one kind of food. This creates a network called a food web. Food webs connect many food chains, showing how all living things in an ecosystem are linked. If one species disappears, it can affect many others because everything depends on each other. Knowing about food chains helps us understand how nature stays balanced. It shows us why protecting different species is important. For example, if a predator population drops, the prey might overpopulate, causing problems for the whole ecosystem. This knowledge is useful for scientists studying ocean life, farmers managing crops, and even for making healthy diets. Understanding food chains helps us see how all living things are connected and why keeping ecosystems healthy is important for everyone.